Hi, my name is Claire, and I'm going to talk about the article I read from the New York Times called The Psych Approach. Basically, this article discusses the dangers of children having childhood trauma and childhood stress. I think that's kind of a basic concept that any children who are under a good amount of stress or duress are at a higher risk of developing issues later in their adult life. But this article really goes into some specific research studies that discuss the fact that there is a much higher risk for things like alcohol abuse, addiction problems, and even higher suicide rates that are very closely linked to children who are not getting their basic needs met or who are experiencing emotional stress. So I think one of the main things I've learned from this article is that it's really important to incorporate education that is more well-rounded and that examines the psychological well-being of children and not just their intelligence or their IQ, because one of the most interesting things that I looked into about this article was that IQ and intelligence are not indicators anymore as much as they were about how successful or happy an individual will be. It's a lot more to do with three main things: motivation, resilience, and self-control. And if we can try to teach those things to children early on and in all areas of their lives, they're much more liable to be a well-rounded, happy, successful individual. Another thing that I found really interesting about this article would be how this is playing out in other countries, specifically countries like Guatemala, where I'm going backpacking next month. Guatemala has been named as one of the top happiest countries with the happiest people year after year, and yet you have to imagine that a lot of the children are not having their basic needs met according to an American scale. So I would want to know how these kinds of things are being remedied in other countries that don't have access to a lot of the programs and the basic needs that we have in the U.S. Overall, I felt it was a really powerful article that I think a lot more people in the education system should read, and I am thankful for the opportunity to have read it.